Today's podcast is all about Autism Navigator. Autism Navigator is a unique collection of web-based tools and courses that use extensive video footage to bridge the gap between science and community practice. The resource was launched a couple of weeks ago, and it is such an important contribution to the autism community that I wanted to spend more time on a podcast than just one of 3 stories. So I want to take you through it, but first I sat down with Dr. Amy Wetherby, the inspiration and the co-creator of the Autism Navigator. I had a few questions. First, Dr. Wetherby, what gave you the idea for the Autism Navigator?
The idea is simple. If a picture is worth 1,000 words, imagine what a video is worth. We started working on Autism Navigator a few years after we launched the ASD Video Glossary in 2007. The glossary was the first side-by-side web-based tool showing red flags of ASD compared to typical development in young children. With Autism Navigator, we wanted to create a collection of tools and courses using extensive video clips, but also utilizing the interactive capability of newer web technology. We think the video is key to bridging the gap between science and community practice, and it's exciting to think about how web technology can have a global reach. By catching autism spectrum early, by teaching families how to support their child's learning in everyday environments, in activities that they're already doing, how to make the most of these everyday moments, we can improve outcomes for children around the world.
And what are the main features of the Navigator right now?
Our first set of Autism Navigator tools and courses are focused on illustrating the early signs of autism in toddlers and evidence-based intervention strategies that parents can use in everyday activities. The tools are free for families and anyone interested in learning about autism. The professional courses have registration fees to help sustain ongoing costs and development of new tools. We've launched our first 2 courses, one for early intervention providers and one for primary care, and our first free tool for the public about autism in toddlers. We hope this triple set will help build the capacity of communities to detect autism earlier and to provide evidence-based intervention for toddlers in natural environments.
What can parents find that they can't find anywhere else?
About Autism in Toddlers is our first free tool for the public. It illustrates the early signs of autism using the new DSM-5 diagnostic framework with video clips of 15 different toddlers, most between 18 and 20 months of age. Parents can watch side-by-side video clips comparing typical development and early signs of autism. They can also watch videos illustrating change with intervention for 8 different toddlers so they can see early intervention in action and how much progress a toddler with autism can make in a year or 2. One of our important messages is that there is hope for families of children with autism. It can be a scary diagnosis, but if you catch it early, the outcomes can be very promising, and children with autism can develop many strengths. We want to try to help families get services early and feel like they can be the impetus for changing their children's outcomes.
What is in store for the future of the Autism Navigator?
We're developing 3 new tools to launch in the coming months. First, we're updating the ASD Video Glossary around the DSM-5 framework and with a responsive design to work across web platforms, including the iPad and smartphones. Second, we're developing social communication growth charts covering 5 domains of development: language, play, social competence, emotional regulation, and self-directed learning. These will have video illustrations of milestones every 2 months, from 9 to 24 months, and commentary to show how parents are supporting the development of these milestones for each domain. Most families and doctors are aware of motor milestones, that all children should be sitting up around 6 months, crawling at 9 months, walking at 12 months, but most don't know the key early social communication milestones. These growth charts will teach families as well as professionals about these important early milestones, which are going to launch language learning and social communication, and ultimately are the foundation for language and literacy and success at school. We're very excited about the potential of the growth charts to help families learn the early milestones and be able to detect small gaps in their child's development early instead of waiting until their child is delayed in talking. Third, we're developing a how-to guide for families who suspect their toddler has autism. This will be an interactive website to teach families how to use evidence-based learning supports and intervention strategies in everyday activities that they're already doing, so they can start right away learning how to support their child's development. We're also beginning development of a new course, Autism Navigator for the kindergarten classroom. If we can catch autism early and provide good quality early intervention, most children with autism can be ready to succeed in kindergarten. So we want to build the capacity of kindergarten teachers to be ready to promote inclusive education. Our long-term goals are to expand Autism Navigator courses and tools across the lifespan. Thanks so much for helping us to get the word out. You can learn more about our tools and courses at autismnavigator.com.
So let me take you through it quickly. First, go to autismnavigator.com. The first thing you'll see is titles running left to right at the top of the page. Personally, I find the Resources and Tool one to be the most exciting. Here is where you can launch the About Autism in Toddlers tool, which includes about 30 short videos which each cover an important aspect of early identification and intervention. There are specific video examples of individuals with autism, and what's interesting is that there's narrations of what's happening. You can watch these videos sequentially or you can skip through them. There are videos of kids with autism, both boys and girls, at different ages. Many people may know about the video glossary available through Autism Speaks. It has these video clips of people with autism and then people without autism to help parents see the early signs and symptoms of autism. Well, this is going to expand on that. It provides some audio link context to provide some information about what's going on in each one of these video vignettes to put them together into a story. There are also slides targeted to pediatricians and information on the causes of autism. What's also important is that there are materials available in English and Spanish. So the Autism Navigator is a great tool, but it's not just to be meant as a web-based resource for people to passively glance at. Last year, NIMH gave a grant to Dr. Wetherby to help her implement the Navigator in 4 different communities across the United States. What they're doing that's unique is targeting traditionally underserved communities by reaching out to churches and food stamp centers. Someone in the community will get the Autism Navigator training, and the grant's goal is to see how this tool will help identify children with autism within 18 months of age. This shows it will have real-life applicability to help a diverse community of people that need it. And as Dr. Wetherby explained, the resources on the Navigator will grow. In a few months, a professional course will be available to care providers to be viewed online. So while noticing the earliest signs and symptoms of autism is important, we must be reminded that sometimes it's not enough. Next week, we'll be hearing from Dr. Sally Ozanoff at the UC Davis Mind Institute, who just published a study on the stability of diagnosis. They used the high-risk baby siblings research design. In this analysis, hundreds of high-risk siblings who have a 20% chance to go on and develop autism themselves found that while the stability of diagnosis was high at 18 months, about half of those that were diagnosed by 36 months were not identified earlier. This is a cohort that's carefully tracked and evaluated by highly trained clinicians. It's therefore kind of unlikely that the doctor may have missed anything early on. But some symptoms may not truly show up until later, and they can also kind of unfold and emerge over these really critical first 3 years of life. This means that early, meaning before 36 months, may not be enough. Screening may need to be repeated multiple times in the first years of life. Stay tuned for next week's report and a summary from the lead author, Dr. Sally Ozanoff. Thanks for listening this week, and please go to autismnavigator.com to see all of this for yourself. I look forward to talking to you next week. See you then.